Ah, well, now I have turned the laundry basket on its side, which seems to be a slightly, well, you can see it's on tilt, but it seems to be a slightly better angle actually. So I'm getting there. I still have a lot of the wavy line thing happening. Yeah, you see, right on cue. Um, I think that that is a function of the lighting that is in here right now. But I just decided that I wanted to make another video because I was still in the mood to ramble, and I don't really have a specific topic to talk about now that I ranted about Indigenous women in Canada. So I'm probably just going to go from one topic to the next, and I don't know at this moment what the title of this video will be. But one of the things that I thought I'd talk about is I had a friend come through town, and we went to the shopping mall, and I don't go shopping very often, but he wanted to look at some stores, and I said to him, please don't let me buy any statues because I don't want to have a lot of. I have a tendency to collect statues, and when I was living in India, I swear they were multiplied overnight. Like, I think that when I left that room, it seemed like every available surface was occupied by some form of pagan god in wooden, brass, or some kind of metal form, stone, wooden, brass, or stone. Anyway, so I said to my friend, please don't let me buy any statues. I have enough, and I have enough incense now also because he brought me tons from India, so I didn't need any more. And of course, the result of that excursion was that I bought not one but two so beautiful statues. So I have spoken to my witchy friends online, and this is Nephthys, the goddess of the night, the sister of Set, goddess of air, and this, of course, is Hathor. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this exactly right. I know that there's Egyptologists who could complain about my pronunciation, but I couldn't resist buying them. And also, my friend completely caved. As soon as we got in the store, and I was like, oh, they're so pretty. And then I was like, okay, no, but I said I wouldn't buy statuaries. And he's like, I think you should get them. So I had no defense against that encouragement. And so now they're here. And I had been experiencing some not bad dreams, but slightly unsettled feeling at night just before I bought these, and now I feel fine. Now that the goddesses are here. So, anyway, I feel like I shouldn't put them on the floor, so one sec. I just feel like if you have, I have a little bit that Eastern, it's definitely a thing in India, and I believe it's a thing in Buddhism also, that if you have sacred items, you don't put them on the floor. Books, in particular, should not be put on the floor or near a washroom. And it's all this stuff about the feet. You're not supposed to, if you're sitting in front of an enlightened being, you don't stretch your legs out toward him. If you're in a temple, you don't stretch your legs out toward, if you're sitting down, you don't stretch your legs out toward the idol. And in Thailand, you generally would avoid pointing your feet at anybody at all. And I mean, there's this whole dichotomy between the head and the feet in Thailand, which is always a little bit interesting if you get a massage, because they have to do all these things. So if they have massaged your feet already, then they can't touch your head without washing their hands. And in fact, they will not probably most. I definitely some of the masseurs are more casual about it, but the rules of their beliefs state that they should actually apologize to your head before putting their hands on it. And I had one guy ask for permission to give me head massage, and then I think there was another guy that just went like that and then did it, and then quite a lot also just get on with it without doing anything. But they all wash their hands after they've massaged my feet, and then if they go to massage my head, they'll wash their hands. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And yeah, so there's a lot of stuff about basically, and so also obviously you would not rest your feet on a book. Even like I had this discussion with someone when I was in India, because she was saying, but because I had put up a sign at the institute saying that you really shouldn't. People had started to use the washroom area as a kind of book exchange depot, and there was this like hallway next to the washroom, and I had a feeling. I got very I'm opinionated, but basically I put up a sign informing my fellow students that this is not really done in India, traditional India. I just feel like if you have a institute that is sort of spiritually motivated and inspired by Hindu beliefs, you should respect some of the customs, whether you agree with them or not, that are kind of pertaining to spirituality. So like, I didn't think it was a good idea for people to put books there. And then they were saying, well, some of them are just romance novels. But the thing is that a romance novel is a book with knowledge in it. Like, it's fiction, sure, but someone can read it and learn English. They can learn all kinds of words and probably positions. No, but I mean, seriously, whatever kind of book it is, whether it's a Pokemon graphic novel, or whether it's a romance novel, or comic book, or manual, it has knowledge in it. So I think the idea behind that is to respect the knowledge and contained therein. And I think that's sort of cool. And then, the other arguments were it's not in the toilet, it's in the outside area. But there was definitely latrine aromas wafting toward the books, which, I don't know, I felt like there should be other arrangements made for the book exchange. And I think that a lot of people experienced the same thing that I often experience with my statues, with their books, which is that they were multiplying in their rooms and wanted to kind of reduce the reduce the population of things. So yeah, like as a pagan, it's interesting because I really love idol worship. I love all the religions that have it, and I definitely prefer Catholicism to Protestantism or Presbyterianism, basically for the reason that they have statues and more magical ideas in it, and definitely Hinduism and Hellenism. However, even though I believe in it, and I believe that when you do a ritual to an idol, there's an effect, especially if you have faith in it, I don't necessarily think that that it's like this limited thing, that the sacred is then contained in that idol, in that item, and then I don't think it's trapped by that. And I also don't think that it's so sacred that it's necessarily more sacred than something else. I think a lot of the sacred quality is something that is imbued. And at the same time, I think that imbued sacred power can become independent and like, I don't know, act act in some unpredictable, magical way. I do believe that, but I don't think that it means that you have to treat idols with all these rules and stuff. I think it's a nice thing to do if you're in a temple and it's, you don't understand the faith, that you follow the rules that are set out there. But I also think that if you're doing your own kind of worship and you're expressing your reverence for your deity in some way that the religion that it comes from wouldn't agree with, it doesn't mean that that deity is not going to hear you, and it doesn't mean that you've done something wrong. And it also, like, I think that it's not necessarily the case that if you drop an idol on the floor that then it's cursed or something. Like, I don't think that those things are that important. I think it's more about where you come from in your heart when you're doing these things. Anyway. And then the other reason that I believe in idols, apart from that kind of very intellectual description, which was sort of all over the place, is the fact that the first time I saw Hindu idols and also Egyptian idols, and I think Inca idols, I felt some form of recognition, as if I knew them from somewhere else. And I didn't at that time really know that much about past life experiences. People had told me, oh, you must have been this in your past life or that in your past life, because I grew up among people who talked about that sort of thing a lot. But until I saw these kind of antiquated statues, I had never really, I actually used to pretend, oh yeah, I think I was in Tibet, but I was lying. And then one day I saw like an Egyptian statue in a book, and I was actually scared by my reaction. Like, I remember feeling this overwhelming sense of familiarity and longing, and also fear. And it was very strange. And I remember feeling like I was drugged or something. And I was only 9 years old at the time. And I remember and it was funny because that time that I saw the Egyptian statue in the book, I thought that was the first time I was having that experience. But then I remembered later that I had seen a picture of a Hindu god on a wall and had the same kind of reaction, but not quite. It was more like, it was a little bit more intellectual. The one that I had with Egypt was really, really overwhelming. It was like a dream coming back to you, but even more. It was actually like I had just been doing something the day before, and then I was actually, like, in my head, I was going back to that memory, trying to access it as if it had just happened, and then couldn't. And then also there were all these emotions associated with that memory that were longing and fear, and that's sort of it. I have the impression that the god that I saw in the picture in the book of the statue, I related to it as something that did not have a gender, but had elements of both genders. And I don't really know where that came from. And then, what else? Oh yes, when I saw the Inca ones, interestingly enough, the Inca art was the least menacing. It actually, when I saw it, it reminded me of what I thought kind of, it was a very meditative space. Like, sometimes when you're meditating and you go into this very admittedly experiential but pleasant state of peace, seeing the Inca art actually put me much more in that frame of mind. And this is very, very personal and niche and extremely boring unless you have had nearly exactly the same experience as I have. So, but anyway, I wanted to show you my new purchases. It was like I was talking about it online, and then somebody said, yeah, when you say no to yourself, the next thing that happens is yes. And not only yes, but a double yes. So the goddesses are like, we're goddesses, and we do not know the meaning of the word no, so we're coming home with you. So anyway, it feels very good to have him here, and I'm not going to worry about what I will do if I have to move somewhere very quickly. I mean, there's no reason why I should have to move quickly. It's just that if you're facing visa issues, sometimes you have to pack up quickly and go get a new visa or go to another country or whatever. And I'm kind of like doing this nomad thing right now. So anyway, I will leave the video there, and I think this is possibly the most rambly, irrational, erratic, nearly incomprehensible video that I have posted thus far. But oh, and I had this new shirt that my friend gave me, so I thought that I would model it, because I always like to do a different shirt for every video, just so that they're more recognizable. Yeah, big thrill, right? Anyway, okay, bye for now.